Most people read Proverbs 3, 9, 10 like it's a religious chore, a duty, a rule, a church obligation that you follow because you're supposed to, not because you understand it. But here's the truth nobody ever told you. This verse is not about giving. It's not about charity. It's not even about offerings. Proverbs 3, 9, 10 is a quantum multiplier, a mechanism, a spiritual, energetic circuit that activates increase in your life. And once you understand how it really works, you'll never look at your finances, your identity, or your spiritual life the same way again. So stay with me through this entire breakdown, because when you understand this principle, you unlock the overflow, the kind of abundance Solomon described when he said your barns would be filled with plenty and your vats would overflow with new wine. That's not poetic language. That's an ancient formula. And if you're new here, subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss these deep dives into quantum Bible wealth and the mechanics of spiritual abundance. We usually hear Proverbs 3, 9, 10 quoted like this: "Honor the Lord with your wealth, with the firstfruits of all your increase. Then your barns will be filled with plenty, and your vats will overflow with new wine." But look closely. The promise isn't triggered by giving money away. It's triggered by honor, a frequency, a posture, a state of consciousness. Honor isn't an action. It's an energetic signal. Honor is the vibration of acknowledgement. It's the recognition of source. It's the internal alignment that says, I am connected to something bigger than my bank account. I am plugged into a field of infinite supply. And here where the quantum piece comes in. In quantum physics, a field responds to recognition. The observer effect says that whatever you acknowledge, you amplify. Whatever you honor with your attention becomes more real in your experience. Proverbs 3, 9, 10 is literally describing this principle thousands of years before science caught up. When Solomon said, "Honor the Lord with your wealth," he wasn't talking about losing something. He was talking about entering a frequency where increase becomes automatic. Let me make this even clearer. You don't honor to get more. You honor because honoring puts you into the state that attracts more. Honor is the gateway into the overflow field. Let's go deeper. Think about the word firstfruits. Firstfruits isn't a percentage. It isn't a rule. It's a principle of priority. The first of anything carries the blueprint of the rest. If the first moment of your day is stressed, the whole day carries the imprint. If the first words spoken over a project are filled with fear, the whole project absorbs that vibration. Solomon understood pattern recognition long before we had language for it. He knew that the quality of the first determines the quality of the whole. So when the verse says to honor with the firstfruits, hear what it's really saying. Align the pattern of your wealth with the frequency of abundance. Not survival, not fear, not "I hope this works," but true alignment. It's an identity shift, not a transaction. Let me give you an analogy you'll never forget. Imagine you walk into a dark room. On the wall is a switch. You flick the switch, and suddenly the entire room fills with light. Did the light come because you worked hard for it? Did the light reward you? Was the light pleased with you? No. You simply activated a system that was already there. Proverbs 3, 9, 10 is a switch, a circuit, a design. Honor is the signal. Overflow is the response. But now, here's the deeper truth most people have never heard. Honor is not about God receiving something. It's about you recognizing something. You are recognizing that you are not disconnected. You are not abandoned. You are not alone in your financial world. This recognition changes your nervous system. It changes your decision-making. It changes the subconscious signals you send. It changes the field around you. This is where quantum faith comes in. Your internal state literally interacts with the quantum field. Science calls it coherence. Scripture calls it agreement. When your inner state agrees with abundance, the external world adjusts. This is why Proverbs 3:9-10 works. Not because you give to get, but because you shift into the vibration where receiving is natural. Let me tell you a story that illustrates this beautifully. There was a man who made $2,000 a month. He would give tithe, donate, everything he thought he was supposed to do. But he always stayed broke. One day, he stopped and asked himself a brutally honest question. Am I giving out of faith or out of fear? He realized something that shocked him. Every time he gave, his internal dialogue was, I hope this works. I need God to show up. If I don't give, I won't be blessed. Nothing in that pattern was honor. It was all fear, lack, and survival. So he shifted. Instead of giving to avoid punishment or earn blessing, he started giving from identity. He started saying, I am connected to an infinite source. I'm honoring the reality that provision is my natural state. Everything changed. Within a year, he tripled his income. Not because he gave away more money, but because he stopped living from fear and started living from alignment. This is the secret nobody explains. Honor is not an action, it's an identity statement. Let's break down the promise in Proverbs 3:10, because there's a hidden dimension here that most people overlook. Your barns will be filled with plenty. Barns represent storage, your systems, your accounts, your capacity. The verse is saying, when you shift your identity and vibration into honor, your capacity expands. More ideas, better decisions, clearer intuition, open doors, unexpected opportunities. People think abundance is about money flowing in. But often, abundance is about you becoming someone who can hold more. Then Solomon says, your vats will overflow with new wine. Vats represent production, your creativity, your output, your impact. Overflow doesn't mean just enough. It means more than you can contain. Notice the order. First, the barns fill. Then the vats overflow. In other words, first the internal capacity shifts. Then the external reality explodes. This is the quantum prosperity formula. Identity, right arrow alignment, right arrow capacity, right arrow overflow. It's the same pattern Jesus taught. It's the same pattern Paul taught. It's the same pattern Solomon taught. Because it's not a doctrine. It's a law. Let's talk about the law for a moment, the overflow principle. The overflow principle says, whatever you honor expands. Whatever you fear contracts. Whatever you ignore stagnates. This is true in the Bible. This is true in physics. This is true in psychology. This is true in your bank account. Honor is expansion energy. Fear is contraction energy. Most people live in financial contraction. Their decisions come from anxiety. Their giving comes from guilt. Their spending comes from stress. Their saving comes from fear of loss. No wonder nothing multiplies. You cannot activate overflow from a vibration of survival. You only activate it from a vibration of honor. So let me give you something practical. A move you can use today. Before you make a financial decision, pause and ask, am I doing this from fear or from honor? If it's fear, stop. If it's honor, proceed. This one shift will change your entire relationship with money. Because honoring the Lord with your wealth is not a command. It's coherence. Fear and faith emit different signals. Fear collapses the field. Faith opens it. Honor is the frequency of faith in action. Let's bring this into the quantum realm. In quantum physics, the field responds to the dominant emotional state of the observer. If you observe from lack, you collapse the possibilities available to you. If you observe from abundance, you expand the probability of favorable outcomes. That is exactly what this verse is describing. When you honor God with the first fruits, you are observing your financial world from the lens of abundance. You're saying, "My source is not limited. My future is not determined by the past. I am rooted in infinite supply." This expands your timeline. It opens doors you never saw. It rewires your intuition. It upgrades your expectancy. You begin to notice opportunities you used to ignore. You begin to act boldly where you used to hesitate. You begin to receive where you used to shrink back. This is quantum faith. This is biblical manifestation. Not wishing, not begging, not hoping. Alignment. Now, before we close, let me give you something that will multiply this principle even further. When you honor with your wealth, honor with your time too. Honor with your ideas. Honor with your energy. Honor with your solutions. Honor with your excellence. Honor everything that is connected to your increase. Because the universe doesn't respond to partial alignment. It responds to full coherence. If your money vibrates at honor, but your thoughts vibrate at fear, the circuit breaks. If your words vibrate at faith, but your actions vibrate at doubt, the circuit breaks. If your giving vibrates at generosity, but your self-image vibrates at unworthiness, the circuit breaks. The overflow principle activates when your entire being is in coherence. That is what Solomon meant. That is why it works. That is why this verse has transformed millions of lives, even though most never understood the mechanics behind it. Final thought. Proverbs 3:9-10 is not a rule. It's not a demand. It's not a religious obligation. It's an invitation. A pattern. A multiplier. It's a way of aligning your identity with abundance, your energy with increase, your consciousness with overflow. And once you enter this frequency, not as a ritual, but as a lifestyle, your barns will fill, your vats will overflow, your world will expand. Because abundance is not something you chase. It's something you activate. If this opens something inside you today, take a second to like this video, subscribe, and tell me in the comments what hit you the hardest. Your engagement directly helps this message reach the people who need it most. Now here's the question I'll leave you with. Are you honoring from fear? Or are you honoring from identity? Your answer determines your overflow.